So after Khamzat Chimaev destroyed Robert Whittaker in one round and broke his jaw, I think that we can all agree that we would rather see Khamzat Chimaev fight Ricky Plessis over Sean Strickland. And to be honest, Khamzat has earned a title shot. He had earned a title shot in the welterweight division when he beat Gilbert Burns. Now at middleweight, he's beaten a former champion in Usman, and he beat a top-ranked contender in Robert Whittaker. And I think that Khamzat versus Dracus is just a much better matchup because we know that Khamzat has the ability to finish Dracus, whereas Sean Strickland, I don't think he does. And we've seen the first fight. In my opinion, it was pretty clear that Dracus Plessis was winning. He was being the aggressor. Going forward, he was throwing like a lot of attacks, and he was landing on Sean Strickland despite Sean Strickland's incredible defense. And I feel like in the rematch, it would probably be the same, except maybe Dracus might finish him this time. I think that he's been in there with him, and he knows what he's going to do. He knows he can take him down. He knows he can make him bleed. He knows he can potentially hurt him. And yeah, he just has a feel for that time. And Sean Strickland, we know what he's going to do. He's going to go out there, throw his jab, throw his front kicks. And to be honest, when in his last fight versus Paulo Costa, he did the exact same thing. He didn't really change. He didn't really evolve that much. It was the same thing. His Costa was a pretty easy fight for him. He didn't really have to do anything fancy, but that's how he always fights. And both Khamzat and Sean Strickland, you know what they're going to do. And the question is, can you stop it, and can you find a way to overcome their challenging styles? And we've seen Dracus Plessis already solve the Sean Strickland puzzle. But now it's a lot more interesting and a lot more competitive to see him versus Khamzat Chimaev. And Sean Strickland, yes, he was a former champion, but he never actually defended his title. He lost it right away. And we've seen a guy like Robert Whittaker go out there and lose his title to Israel Adesanya. Then he has to go fight Darren Till, Jared Cannonier, and Kelvin Gastelum before he gets another opportunity at the title. And I feel like if that can happen, I feel like we can't skip Sean Strickland and guarantee him the next title shot, have him sit out, because Khamzat versus DDP is a much better fight. And yeah, even if he wins and he beats Dracus Plessis, he's going to have Khamzat. And there's been some rumors that apparently Khamzat was ragdolling Sean Strickland when they were training together, and he was making easy work, and Sean Strickland even acknowledged that himself. And I feel like their fight will potentially reflect that. So I think that Dracus Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev would be a more competitive matchup. And Khamzat Chimaev, first of all, he will be a dangerous matchup for Duplessis because he's got that elite level grappling that he's able to impose on all his fighters. It's not a matter of if you can get taken down. It's a matter of if you can survive while you're on the ground with Khamzat on your back. And when Duplessis fought Brunson, there was some red flags that I feel like a guy like Khamzat Chimaev could exploit. Like on the ground, he wasn't really fighting for the hooks when Brunson nearly had a rear naked choke. Brunson was able to get on his back. And Khamzat has shown the ability to be able to finish you without even having the choke under your neck. So if you're too comfortable in this position, he could do you like he did Whittaker and potentially break your jaw. I think in this fight, Dracus Plessis is going to want to avoid grappling at all costs, because Khamzat could reverse him and he could take him down, and he's the superior grappler in my opinion. And when Khamzat fought Gilbert Burns, he was defending the takedowns like it was nothing. Same with Usman. Usman shot a takedown and Khamzat was defending it like it was nothing again. Now Duplessis might be stronger than these guys, but is he better technically at getting the fight to the ground? I don't know. The guys in lower weight classes are typically better, but Duplessis is a championship level fighter, and he does have some solid, technical grappling, but sometimes he does use a lot of strength to get out of bad positions against his opponents. And Khamzat he's different. He's not like Derek Brunson. He's not like Darren Till. You can't just explode on him because he's going to continue to pressure you with his grappling, and it's going to be very difficult for Duplessis to explode out of bad situations for 5 rounds against a guy like Khamzat Chimaev. But on the feet, I do favor Dracus Plessis to beat Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's a better striker. Although Khamzat, he does have an ability to, throw on the back foot. He does throw his right hand on the back foot. He's not going to just back up the whole time like Israel Adesanya was doing. He's actually going to plant his feet sometimes and then throw some big shots. But I favor Duplessis because Khamzat's defense on the feet is not that good. He is very hittable. Like, just his defense isn't the best. He keeps his hands up, but his head doesn't move off the center line. He is there to be hit by straight punches like Kamaru Usman was piecing him up in round 2 and 3. And also, he's open to getting a leg kick, and Du Plessis is going to kick a lot more than Burns or Usman. And also, whenever he's in the pocket, he doesn't exit fast enough to avoid getting countered by his opponents. And I think that Du Plessis could catch him with that, because Strickland does a good job of, whenever his opponents try to attack him or when his opponents do land a strike on him, he instantly goes at them and tries to get it back. And also, I favor Du Plessis because his timing on the feet is incredible. He's able to hit his opponents when they're out of position or when they're not expecting it at all, which leads him to land clean on his opponents. Like, take a look at these clips where Adesanya brings his feet together and he's not in a position to effectively counter or defend strikes against Du Plessis, and he constantly gets hit by these shots. And Du Plessis is able to know when Izzy is in a weak stance, and then he immediately attacks him. And he's able to get Izzy in a bad stance. And Khamzat has been caught by Gilbert Burns in a bad stance. He's been hit clean, and I feel like Du Plessis has an incredible ability to attack his opponents whenever his opponents are in a bad stance. He did this against one of the best strikers in the world, in Israel Adesanya. So I think that he can definitely do this against Khamzat and hurt him real bad, because he already hits really hard. But Khamzat, if he's refined his counter-striking technique, he could definitely hurt him as Du Plessis is rushing in. But yeah, I think it's a very exciting fight. I think it's a much better fight than Sean Strickland versus Du Plessis. And I think the UFC should pay Sean Strickland some money, say, here, sit down, just wait your turn. And then after that, he fights a winner, guaranteed. But let me know what you guys think. I think that this fight should happen next, and I think it will be a very exciting fight.